Hi, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, June the 2nd. News from Arkansas. Late yesterday afternoon, Attorney General Leslie Rutledge announced that she had approved the wording of a proposed constitutional amendment that would legalize 3 more casinos in Arkansas. They'd be operated by the sponsors of this casino amendment. There's some investors, mostly from Missouri. They'd be in Boone County, Washington County, Miller County. They've got to get 85,000 signatures of registered voters in about 5 weeks' time to qualify for the ballot, and you can bet that the 2 legal casinos in Arkansas, at Oaklawn and Southland Park, will be watching that process very closely, but at least another effort is underway once again to try and get a casino amendment on the ballot. The Arkansas blog, the blog of the Arkansas Times, which you can find at arkansasblog.com, finally got some information out of Asa Hutchinson's office about what all he spent to get his office and mansion up to shape for his occupancy after Mike Beebe left. We got information on the Freedom of Information Act that shows he spent about $235,000 in tax money for office redecoration and quite a bit of computer equipment to move into the office. A lot of the equipment was out of date, they say. And another $50,000 in new furniture. This was paid by contributions given to the Republican Party around inaugural time by some of the biggest corporate interests in Arkansas, from Koch Industries to Charles Sella at Oaklawn to Monair Poultry. He's also spending $1.1 million in taxpayer money for fix-up at the governor's mansion, some of it some needed structural repairs, some of it to make life more comfortable for the governor and his wife, Susan Hutchinson. The state issued its monthly report today on state tax revenues. For the month of May, the money came in slightly ahead of forecast, only slightly. The state seems to think we're still on an economic upturn. Of course, employment is way up thanks to Obamacare, which has put more people to work in the healthcare industry. One key indicator, the sales tax seems to be flat, however. That's a measure of how much money people have to spend, and it's not really moving very strongly, but moving ahead is still not falling behind, so there will be some surplus money to spend on highways next year, as the governor had hoped. This morning in circuit court, Erica Susky, a former substitute teacher at Catholic High School, issued a negotiated plea in which she took a reduced charge of indecent exposure, where she'd been initially charged with a sexual assault for having sexual relations with a teenager who was a student at Catholic High School. This didn't occur at the high school. She had sex with the student at her home and at his home in Sherwood. The school heard about it, reported it to police. They investigated. A charge was filed. She lost her job. She'll have probation, but she'll be identified as a sex offender, has to pay a fine and also undergo counseling. National news story of some interest in Arkansas: the teen birth rate in the United States continues to drop precipitously, down by almost half in 10 years' time. This is good news because of the cost that teen births generally bring to society. Arkansas, unfortunately, is still on top of the teen birth rate chart, and also in the top of unwanted pregnancy percentage as well. They think that contraception and the availability of long-term contraception is a big reason for the drop in teen birth rate, and a greater understanding on the part of teenagers about the burdens of being a teen mother. In Arkansas, of course, we're trying to put Planned Parenthood out of business, which supplies long-term contraceptives. We're not very friendly toward comprehensive sex education, which gives people the tools to avoid pregnancy if they are going to have sex when they're teens. And we also don't like contraception much. It's not just abortion we oppose, and it's too bad because, of course, if you have foolproof contraception, you don't need abortions. But we'll be hearing more on that argument in the times ahead. The American Humanists Association has written a letter to the mayor of Beebe, Mike Robertson, objecting to the fact that he's brought in a gospel band to bring the Christian message to the city of Beebe on the July 4th celebration in the city park. Mike Robertson, we've written about a number of times before, for posting the 10 Commandments, for talking about the need for more God in the public forum, and also for talking about supposed liberties and special privileges giving non-believers. Has more or less said, well, go to you know where, to those people who say you shouldn't have a gospel band at the city park on the 4th of July. There was a little piece of good news in the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette this morning. It talked about a number of people who are talking about running for Secretary of State in 2018. That's a ways off. The really good news is that the current Secretary of State, Mark Martin, no, he's not the race car driver, despite what many people may think, says he's not going to run for political office in 2018. If that's not good news, I don't know what is. Finally, today is National Gun Violence Day, a group that was underwritten originally by Mayor Mike Bloomberg and has gone nationwide, working to build awareness about gun violence and strategies to do something about it, is observing Wear Orange Day, and people who oppose gun violence and who favor things to do something about it are wearing orange. The Arkansas River Bridge over in downtown Little Rock is going to be illuminated in orange to mark the day. There's a get-together in Alsop Park from 5 to 7 today of people who feel this way. Wear orange if you'd like to go. There's some people that don't like the idea of reducing gun violence. This group is for, among other things, universal background checks on purchase of firearms to keep felons and the mentally disabled from buying weapons. Seems like an okay idea to me. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.